Maggie re-observes Manhattan through a large monocular. On the streets is a massive herd of walkers. Hearing a small herd coming, Maggie quickly hides, but she is surprised by a walker that attacks her. Maggie manages to overpower the walker and bash its head with her monocular. Splattered with walker blood, Maggie lets out a scream before catching her breath. Maggie drives to the Easy Stay Motor Inn and drinks at the bar. At the bar, Maggie asks the bartender for information about if the man named Negan lives at the motel. At Maggie's request, the bartender directs her to the bathroom, but she immediately drops her act as soon as Maggie is out of sight. Maggie checks out the motel rooms and she finds one with a shower running in it. Maggie goes to confront the shower's occupant, but she is grabbed by two men and dragged away. And Jones guesses that Maggie was sent by Vasquez. She is ready to cut her nose, but Maggie quickly subdues the three before Negan enters the bar. Seeing Maggie, Negan flees, aided by a silent young girl named Ginny. Maggie stops Negan and Ginny, holding a knife to Negan's throat, and Negan sarcastically comments that it's good to see Maggie too. Negan examines a wanted poster of himself from New Babylon with amusement. Maggie asks where Annie and his kid are. Negan dodges the question by introducing Ginny to Maggie. Maggie tells him that a man named Croat attacked her and took her son Herschel hostage. Negan asks how he figures into all of this, and Maggie tells him that she tracked them and they already made it all of the way across to Manhattan. As they are old acquaintances, Maggie asks for his help. Negan agrees and asks her to take care of Ginny at her hilltop setup, and Maggie promises to keep Ginny safe. Maggie drives with Negan and Ginny, and across the road, two people have been hung, with one of them having reanimated as a walker. Having stopped, Maggie fires a flare gun into the air and Negan points out that this isn't the way to the hilltop. Once the girl is asleep, Negan explains that Ginny's father was killed by the survivors and he found her. Their discussion is interrupted by the arrival of one of Nina to take Ginny to the hilltop. At night, Marshal Pearlie Armstrong and two other marshals arrive at the bar. Pearlie shows the patrons Negan's wanted poster, asking if they've seen him. Jones lies that she hasn't seen Negan, and Pearlie drags her outside. Pearlie shoves her face near the fence that has a herd on the other side, and she finally admits. After taking the information, Pearlie throws Jones inside the fence and Walker's horde tears her apart. From across the river, Negan observes the large plume of smoke from a fire in Manhattan, and Maggie explains the smoke shows up like that every morning and night at the same time. Before they leave on the boat, Marshall also arrives, and Pearlie sends Grits and Yano to do a sweep. Yano takes a piss, he's captured by Maggie, and she and Negan use Yano as a human shield against Pearlie as they take off in the boat. Reaching the dock, Yano notices that the only thing that's around is a few dead bodies. As the three head towards the fire, walkers suddenly start falling from the sky. The three eventually reach a blockade and see a vehicle driving by, playing loud music and leading a massive herd of walkers. Deciding not to stay, the three come out of hiding as someone starts shooting the walkers. They hide inside a building where Pearlie arrives with the other marshal. Pearlie accidentally shoots Yano, while Pearlie is distracted and the herd breaks through the doors and devours Grits. Maggie sneaks up behind the marshal and they fight, and Maggie reveals that she needs Negan to find her son. Pearlie pushes her by the throat and she attacks him with her chain and knocks him unconscious. Maggie escapes with Negan into a back room, where Maggie and Negan encounter Esther, who blows out Negan's match. Tied to a chair, Herschel is visited by the Croat, who asks him about Negan. Herschel refuses to reveal any kind of information, and a man arrives to inform Croat that someone has gotten away. On the roof, a shirtless man covered in slashes and other signs of torture desperately looks for an escape route. The man tries to escape across a zipline to another building, but the Croat cuts the zipline, sending the man falling to his death. The duo reaches another building where they catch Esther. Negan asks the old woman to take them to the building where the smoke is coming from, but she protests in Hebrew, which Negan has no idea what she is saying. Pearlie awakens and spots his rifle across the floor and also sees the zombified Grits walking there. Esther leads Maggie and Negan down some stairs where Amaya and Tommaso aim modified nail guns at them, while Esther tries to defuse the situation. Tommaso leads Maggie and Negan to Luther, who is searching for Maggie's bag, and they lock the duo in the bathroom. At the bricks, Nina tries to help Ginny get settled in and promises that the people might end up being like family to Ginny someday. In a flashback, Maggie enters Herschel's room and admonishes him for missing weapons training again, where Lane brought out the bow staffs. He crumples it up, tells Maggie that it sucks, and leaves to go to Xander's. In the present, Negan explains to her when the world turned into a shit soup, Croat shows up at his door. Pretty soon he was calling me his brother, Buras. During their raid they saw a young girl miles away and Croat asked him to kill her without any reason. She was just a kid and I knew that he was a rabid dog that needed to be put down. I had one shot. I missed, blew off his ear, and the rest of him got away. I haven't seen or heard from him since. Maggie is angry that Negan didn't tell her this before, but Negan points out that he does know how the Croat operates. Pearlie makes his way to Joel's apartment and breaks through the locked door. Inside, he finds his dead body lying on a chair, and emotionally Pearlie covers his brother's body. He sees the walkers are trying to get in and quickly escapes through the window. As he walks, he gets caught in a net. Maggie and Negan hear a lot of panic shouting and Tommaso grabs them, accusing the two of being responsible. Negan holds a blade to Tommaso's throat and tells them they are here to help. Baruzzi's gang attacks them and the group quickly leaves for another hideout. One of the gang members takes Esther hostage. Negan tries to talk with the man but he kills Esther and Negan subdues the man by slamming him headfirst into a beam. Negan takes the man to the gang members and stabs him a couple of times to announce his arrival. Ginny is unable to sleep, she distracts the guard and silently steals the motorcycle to leave. Maggie finally admits the truth, that they're in Manhattan because the Croat has her son. Amaya says you want to catch the psycho, that we can help you with. Pearlie continues to struggle in his net as 4 walkers surround him. The Croat drives up with 2 Baruzzi, killing all the walkers with his helmet. He cut down Pearlie and saying you're safe now. Ginny arrives near the coast and leaves for Manhattan in a large yellow cooler. Zombies horde walking near a building gate, and Amaya tells Maggie this is a way to reach Croat. Maggie asks about the sewer and tunnels and she tells her that after the apocalypse, the army destroys bridges, tunnels, and sewers so nobody can evacuate from the city. Negan asks Amaya about the guy who escaped and she says it was Tommaso. Maggie wants to know but Luther says the decision not to put ourselves in danger is already made. Amaya says that Croat butchered our lives and invaded our homes so we have to show them the way. While Croat arrives at his location taking Pearlie as a hostage. Tommaso makes a map of the way and Maggie says we will kill him after knowing where my son is. Luther says you are putting all of us in danger for your son who is already dead. Ginny is attacked by a zombie but she manages to get away, and then she sees a woman named Ritza who kills the zombie and leaves taking her dinosaur toy. Croat takes Pearlie to the Ring of Fire and asks him why he is in the city and how many people are with him. Pearlie refuses to talk and he throws him in the ring to fight against the zombies. He fights and splits the zombie's head and then cuts his stomach to find the key. He opens his handcuffs and fights with other zombies killing them with his boats. Ritza returns to the hiding place after collecting the supplies. As Ritza pulls out her findings, Maggie notices Ginny's toy and she tells her I found it on the street. Croat reveals his family became a meal for another starving family. They hold a blade on Pearlie's neck and removing his shoe, Croat finds an envelope inside it. Croat begins to read the letter to his emotional brother begging for Pearlie's help. Pearlie asks him to stop and reveals that he was here with his 2 partners but they are dead. He arrived here looking for a man named Negan. Luther shows Negan to his wanted poster and asks him to leave tomorrow. Negan tries to explain but Luther isn't ready to hear anything. They fight and Negan runs the cheese grater across his forehead making him fall on the pipe. In a flashback, Negan teaches Ginny a whistle to call him for help. Maggie prepares to burn the dinosaur toy in an old trash unaware that Ginny is watching her silently. In the past, Negan was writing something and was interrupted by Simon who told him about the problem. They went and saw Croat who told them about the girl which was sent by the king. Croat tortured the girl and killed her to find some information while Simon and Negan showed anger at him. Back in the present, the group is ready to leave toward Croat's building. They wait a while for Luther but he never shows up and Negan says they have to move saying Luther is gone as he was not ready to take part. The group leaves and we see Ginny sneaking behind them. They enter the tunnel, avoiding the walkers. They reach the building. Inside, they make a plan that Maggie will find a car and Negan has to distract Croat while the rest will kill his crew. Croat is seen with a teenage girl teaching her how to operate the facility. He hears the whistles and recognizes it's a move of Negan. Maggie is just about to steal a car and she sees Ginny who runs to see her. Maggie runs to catch her while Negan hears a whistle. It is clear that this is Ginny. Maggie stops and Ginny while the whole group is surrounded by the zombie horde. They fight with the herd and Tommaso eventually gets grabbed by a group of walkers. The group lock themselves in the ring and Maggie asks them to use makeshift shields to force their way out. Tommaso somehow manages to fight and they all escape from the hall. Croat and Negan confront themselves and Negan asks him to hand over the boy. Croat instead shows him the marshal and pushes him down. Negan manages to save Pearlie and they run away, while the group escapes through the sewer line. However, Negan saves Pearlie but he still wants to arrest him, and Negan calls him dickhead. Escaping the city through the sewers, Amaya is attacked by the zombies. In an attempt to save her, Tommaso is also bitten. Amaya dies and Maggie kills Tommaso. The Croat drives to a theater, running down a walker that he encounters outside. He meets with a woman named Dama and reveals that the new Babylon Marshal and Negan arrive in the city. Dama believes that they need Negan, and before he leaves, Dama makes the Croat bow, kneel, and kiss her hand. Maggie and Ginny reach a massive pile of corpses where they are attacked by the herd. Maggie sends her on alone and quickly finishes the fight with the herd. Ginny crawls through the tunnel, now just a pipe as, in a flashback to Ginny's departure from the bricks, she checks out the grain silo and finds it fully revealing the truth. Maggie had lied to both Negan and Ginny about the events that had led her to seek out Negan's help. The Croat hands Negan's wanted poster to Maggie. He wants Negan in return for Herschel. Maggie manages to make it out of the sewers, and she collapses. Running into the middle of the street, Ginny fires a flare gun into the air, which is seen by both Negan and Maggie. Ginny meets with Negan and he asks Maggie about the scene. Maggie reveals she finds her at the building. She doesn't leave Negan, and Pearlie says to him, "I will lead her to a safe point, so you can end up in this mess." Ginny speaks to reveal the truth about Maggie, and Negan tells her the truth: "I killed your father and then I found you." Ginny runs and Maggie watches Negan's face emotionally. Reaching the state island, Negan becomes suspicious and realizes it's a trap for Maggie. They both start fighting, and after a suspenseful fight, Negan reveals that he took your son and in return he wants me. Croat arrives with his gang and Maggie holds a blot to Negan's neck to complete the deal. Maggie and the Croat trade Negan for Herschel, and Maggie embraces her son for the first time since he was kidnapped. At the bricks, Herschel is angry with her mother as she takes revenge in return for her son. Maggie promises to save Negan, and Herschel is pleased with Maggie's decision. Croat takes Negan to Dama and she offers him the keys to the kingdom. The Dama presents Negan with a small box containing a severed pinky toe. Herschel, who is missing his right pinky toe, plays his guitar as the Dama explains to Negan that she had a lot of talks with Herschel, who told the Dama the story of the man who had murdered his father. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos.